Hello, and welcome back to the Slow English Podcast. Tonight, we are going to explore a world that we all visit, but nobody truly understands.
We are talking about the secret world of dreams. Every night, when you close your eyes, your brain starts a movie. Sometimes it is a romance. Sometimes it is a horror movie. And sometimes it is just weird.
But why do we do it? Is it just random noise in the brain, or does it have a biological purpose?
Today, we are going to look at the science behind the mystery. We will ignore the magic and the superstitions. We will focus only on facts, neuroscience, and the leading theories from sleep researchers.
So, get comfortable, close your eyes if you like, and let's dive into the secret world of your brain.
Let's start with the most popular theory among neuroscientists today. It is called overnight therapy.
Therapy? You mean like going to a psychologist?
Exactly. This theory suggests that dreaming is a way to heal our emotions. Here's the science behind it.
When we are awake, our brains are filled with a chemical called noradrenaline. This is a stress chemical. It is related to adrenaline. It keeps us alert, anxious, and ready to react.
But research shows that when we enter REM sleep, the stage where dreaming happens, our brain completely stops producing this stress chemical.
It is the only time in the 24-hour cycle that our brain is completely stress-free.
So, what does the brain do during this safe time? It takes your painful memories from the day and it reprocesses them.
Imagine you had a terrible argument with your boss. It was humiliating. You felt angry and stressed.
That night, you might dream about that argument, but because your stress chemicals are shut down, your brain can replay the memory without the intense emotional pain.
It strips away the sharp edges of the emotion, so when you wake up the next morning, you still remember the argument, but it doesn't hurt as much.
So, the old saying, time heals all wounds, is not quite right. It should be, time spent dreaming heals all wounds.
That is fascinating, but there's another major theory about why we dream. It involves memory.
Yes, this is the memory consolidation theory. Think of your brain like a computer. During the day, you are opening files, browsing the internet, and learning new things. All of this is stored in your short-term memory, like RAM.
But RAM is temporary. If you turn off the computer without saving, you lose everything.
Exactly. Sleep researchers believe that dreaming is the moment when your brain hits the save button.
There was a famous study done on students. One group studied a math problem and then stayed awake. The other group studied the same problem and then took a nap.
The results were incredible. The students who slept, and specifically those who dreamed about the problem, were 10 times better at solving it when they woke up.
10 times? That is a huge difference.
Yes. While you dream, your brain is replaying the new information. It decides what is important to keep and what is useless junk to delete. It moves information from short-term memory to long-term storage.
So if you're a student studying for an exam, pulling an all-nighter is actually the worst thing you can do. You need to sleep to save the data.
Now, let's answer the question everyone asks. Why are dreams so weird?
Right. Last night, I dreamt I was having tea with a dinosaur in my old high school. It made zero sense. Why does the brain create these crazy stories?
The answer lies in the anatomy of the brain. When you enter the dreaming state, different parts of your brain change their activity levels.
First, let's talk about the visual cortex. This is the part of the brain that processes vision.
Even though your eyes are closed, this part of the brain is extremely active. That is why dreams are so visual. You are essentially hallucinating.
Next, the amygdala. This is the emotional center of the brain. It controls fear, anger, and anxiety. During dreaming, it is 30% more active than when you are awake.
This explains why dreams are so emotional. When you are scared in a dream, you are terrified. When you are in love, you feel it deeply.
But here is the key. While the emotional center is hyperactive, another part of the brain shuts down completely.
It is called the prefrontal cortex. This is the CEO of the brain. It is responsible for logic, reason, and decision-making.
So the logic center goes on vacation, while the emotion center throws a wild party.
Exactly. Because the logic center is offline, your brain accepts anything. You see a dinosaur? Your brain says, okay, sure. You can fly? No problem. You don't question it because the part of your brain that asks questions is asleep.
We have talked about human brains, but what about people who cannot see? Do blind people dream?
This is a very common question, and the answer depends on when they became blind.
If a person was born with sight but lost it later in life, say after age 7, they still dream in images. Their brain has a library of pictures to use.
However, people who were born blind, congenital blindness, do not see images in their dreams, but that does not mean they don't dream.
Their dreams are just as rich and intense as ours, but they are built from other senses. They dream of sounds, smells, touches, and emotions.
For example, a blind person might dream of the feeling of falling, the sound of a storm, or the smell of delicious food. It's a full sensory experience, just without the video.
And what about our pets? Do animals dream?
If you have a dog, you have probably seen them running or barking in their sleep. But is that a dream or just a muscle twitch?
Scientists at MIT proved that animals definitely dream. They studied rats running through a maze.
They recorded the brain activity of the rats while they were running the maze awake. Then, they recorded the rats while they were sleeping.
The brain patterns were identical. The match was so perfect that the scientists could tell exactly where the rat was in the dream maze.
They could say, look, the rat is dreaming about the second turn to the left right now. So yes, your dog is probably dreaming about chasing a squirrel.
So dreaming is not just random noise. It is our overnight therapy. It is our memory saver. And it's a fascinating chemical state where logic sleeps and emotion takes over.
We still have a lot to learn about the brain. But one thing is clear, sleep is not a waste of time. It is an essential biological function.
If you want to be smarter, happier, and emotionally stable, the best advice is to get a good night's sleep.
Thank you for listening to this deep dive into the secret world of dreams.
We hope you have sweet dreams tonight. Goodbye.